Hello my Dotty family and welcome to my channel. Come and join me on this magical journey through the world of dot art. I'm Zelda from the Faerie realm and today we're going to do an advanced rock painting or stone painting. Okay, so what you're going to need for this whole thing is of course your stone, your flexi ruler. I'm just going to measure the rock to tell you guys how large it is with this ruler. You're going to need your chalk pencils, your compass. You're going to need my stencil. If you don't have this one and you just want to quickly get started with this, I also have the 1-inch designs available on my website for downloads. You can just cut it out, and we're going to be working with a 20 section stencil. Then you're going to need your needles. Okay, so your needle tips. Usually the colors correspond with the sizes across all of them. So if you have the plastic ones or if you have the cone ones, it doesn't matter. As long as you have a large, a medium, and a small, you can have the blue, the gray one, and then the green one that we're going to be working with. But I'll put up the sizes on the screen for you to see them here. Then what I've also done, which is very, very helpful with tiny work, is I have 2 needles. So the one needle is for beads, so it's really thin. And what I've done is I just used my hot glue gun just to cover up the sharp end, because the sharp end doesn't give you dots. And then I'm going to use the end where you thread the needle through, and this one we're going to be using to touch up our dots. Okay, and then I did another one which is a needle that's a little bit thicker, which is also going to give us tiny dots, and I did exactly the same thing. So I covered up the pointy end with some hot glue, and then we're going to be dotting with this side here. Then you're also going to need a syringe if you don't have a bottle to clean your needle tips with. This needs to be done while we're working so that the paint doesn't dry inside of them, because you don't want to sit with that problem later on. And I'll show you exactly how we do that as we go along. Then you're going to need your ball tools. Okay. And then the paint colors that I'm using is I'm using a lot of colors. I'm just going to cycle through all of them, but let me quickly go through them with you. So I've got my glow yellow, and then I've got my glow orange. So these are neon paints, UV activated. And then I mixed one that's the color in between. Okay. So from there, I go on to the next one. So this is my glow fire, and then I've got a glow pink, and then I've got a glow magenta. So that's already like 6 colors. Then I've got in between my glow magenta and glow violet, I mixed these 2 up to give me this in between color. So what I'm looking for is kind of a gradient effect that I'm going to get with the rock. And then I have one that I mixed with, so my glow blue. Hold on. So those 3 basically make up this color here. And then after the glow blue, I've got, oh, there we go. So I mixed up the neon blue and the neon green to give me this color in between, which is like a turquoisey color. And then I mixed up the glow green and the glow yellow to give me this color in between. So that is my spectrum of colors, and I'm going to be using them in that order as well. So that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 13 colors in total. You don't have to use 13. If you want to use 3 colors, you can just cycle between them. So just start 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 as we go along. And then of course you're going to need black to cover up your background. If we do make mistakes, they probably will happen. They happen to me every single time. And then you're going to need your palette. And then of course just your bowl to clean your tools in. And I think that's about everything. Okay, so let's quickly start with the planning of this rock. This planning is going to be quite intricate because we want our spacing to be quite precise. So the more guidelines we have, the better. That also means that your pencil needs to be really, really sharp, because we don't want thick chalk lines, because the thick chalk lines are also going to interfere with our paint, which we don't want. Now the size of my rock is, I'm working with, let's say, a 9.5 centimeter in diameter rock, which will be, say, 3.75 inches in diameter. And then if you also want the height, this one is just over 1.1 inch. And in centimeters, that will give us about 3 centimeters high. So in order for your design to fit in, that's the size you need. Now the flexi ruler, of course, I'm going to use to mark the lines with. Okay, so I'm going to start marking all my 20 sections. I've already marked out where the center point is. I'm going to line my stencil up like that and hold it down. And then I'm going to mark, so for the 20 sections on my stencil, it is all of the outside dot. You don't want to press hard, you just want your chalk mark to be there. Like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to mark, divide each of those in half. Then we're going to connect all of them with our flexi ruler. Now what you're going to do is you're going to bend it over the side. So I'm going to let this hang off the side of the table a little bit, just so that it can go around, because I want my line to run as far down as I can possibly get it. So what I've noticed with this rock as well is when you place the flexi ruler down, you're going to hold your index finger here, because the ruler lifts up and it creates a gap there. So you need to press it down, hold it all the way down, and then to get the side, you're going to mark from the bottom up on the sides as well, and that will give you this. Now what we need to do is mark so we can do our circles all the way around. I'm going to put my 0 on the center, and then with my ruler I'm going to mark every half a centimeter or every 0.2 inches. And this is very important so that we can make sure that our design is expanding equally on all sides. And then I'm just going to draw these circles in. So you want to work very lightly. You want to make one hole and then stick to that hole without digging it out and making it bigger. So you don't want to apply a lot of pressure. You want to work really, really lightly with this tool. Okay, so now we have our structure lines. What I'm going to do is for the center one, so that the chalk doesn't interfere, I'm just going to wet my brush, wipe off the excess water so we don't have a pool here. And I'm just going to wipe out everything where the center dot is going to go. Okay, and then the last thing is I'm just going to put it on this little holder I've got, because when I twist it, I don't want to touch the chalk lines, because that's just going to rub it out, and yeah, we don't want that because we need that for guidance. Alright, so that's it for the structure video. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me. Stay dotty, stay magical, keep well. Bye bye.